What if I told you that you could create a legit Hollywood-style film just by typing a few lines of text? I know, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? Well, that world is getting here way faster than any of us expected. We're talking about tech that's moving so fast, it really feels like we're watching the future unfold in real time. So today, we're diving into the incredible, kind of mind-blowing world of generative AI video, and how it's basically rewriting the rules for creating moving images.
All right, so let's just jump right in with a little test. Take a really close look at the video playing right now. Do you think it's real? Shot with a camera and everything? Or was it just dreamed up by a machine? Honestly, if you'd asked me this a few months ago, it would have been a total no-brainer. But now, man, it is genuinely hard to tell. That line between what's real and what's rendered has gotten incredibly blurry, incredibly fast.
And the answer is, yup, it's AI. But here's the really wild part. That stunning, super cinematic scene you just saw, one creator showed how you can make it using completely free AI tools right in your web browser. Think about that. No expensive cameras, no big production team, not one single dollar. This right here is the promise and, frankly, the raw power of the technology we're breaking down today.
Okay, so how in the world does this magic trick actually work? To really get a handle on these incredible videos we're seeing, we've got to first understand the big idea that makes it all possible. So, at its heart, generative AI is a type of artificial intelligence that doesn't just analyze data, it actually creates new stuff. It basically studies a gigantic library of existing content, photos, videos, text, and it learns all the patterns, the styles, even the unspoken rules of things like physics. Then, it uses all that knowledge to generate something totally new, something original, based on what you tell it to do.
And look, this stuff didn't just pop up out of nowhere. The journey really started over a century ago, just analyzing simple text patterns. The first real spark, though, was in 2014, with networks that could generate some kind of fuzzy, weird images. But the big one, the moment that changed everything, was in 2017 with something called the transformer architecture. This is what let AI models understand context and relationships in data like never before. It's the engine that led to the huge AI boom in 2022 and brought us directly to the cinematic video tools we're seeing today.
So when you boil it all down, the whole thing comes down to this really simple three-step process. First, the AI learns patterns from just massive amounts of data. Second, it figures out the specific thing you're asking for, what we call a prompt. And third, it generates brand new, totally original content that matches what you asked for. That's pretty much it. That's the engine that is driving this entire revolution.
Okay, now that we know how it works, let's meet the tools themselves. Let's meet the AI directors that are all kind of fighting to run the show in this new version of Hollywood.
And you can already see the market is starting to specialize, which is pretty interesting. You've got Google's Veo, which is just a master of realism and getting actors to look natural. Then there's OpenAI Sora, kind of the storyteller of the bunch, creating these long, coherent shots. Kling is amazing at photorealistic people, but they can feel a little empty, emotionally. And Runway gives you a whole editing suite, but it has its own limitations. Each one is carving out its own space, with its own unique strengths and, yeah, its own weaknesses.
Now, let's zoom in on the two heavyweights right now, Sora and Veo. The absolute best way to think about them is like this. Veo is the master cinematographer. It delivers breathtaking realism, perfect lighting, incredibly natural performances. Sora, on the other hand, is the master storyteller. It seems to just get narrative flow and emotional tone in a way that makes its videos feel like they were actually directed by a person.
And this quote just brilliantly sums up the leap we've taken. As one expert reviewer put it, these top-tier models, they're not just making moving pictures anymore. They're actually making creative choices. They seem to understand things like pacing and composition and emotion. They are, in a very, very real sense, directing the scene.
But, it's not all just a race for raw power. The field is getting more diverse. Some tools, like Luma Dream Machine, are getting tons of praise for their user experience and just beautiful, clean design. People are even calling it the Apple of AI video, which just goes to show you that in this new creative space, how it feels to use it matters just as much as what it can do.
Tech reviewer Marques Brownlee said it best after testing these tools. He said the results are horrifying and inspiring at the same time. And that feels right. So let's get real about what this technology can do, what it can't do, and what it probably shouldn't do, at least for now.
So first up, the good. Right now, AI is absolutely fantastic for stuff where perfect realism isn't the main goal.
We're talking beautiful abstract visuals, slick animated titles for videos, or really unique stop-motion and cartoon styles. And for filmmakers, oh man, it's a total game changer for visualizing concepts, letting them quickly mock up a scene or a mood before they ever shoot a single frame.
And then there's the bad, which honestly is often just hilarious. See, these models don't really understand our world, they just mimic patterns they've seen. And that leads to these weird failures in object permanence, where things will just vanish or pop back into existence. Physics often feels off, with a strange slow-motion-y vibe to everything. And anatomy? That's a huge challenge. I'm telling you, if you watch a person's legs for more than a few seconds, they will almost certainly do something physically impossible.
Another bad, at least for a lot of us, is the cost. I mean, sure, there are some free tools out there, but the really high-end stuff, it can be incredibly expensive. On a platform like Adobe's Firefly, for example, a single 5-second clip can burn through 500 credits. That cost is a huge barrier for who can actually get their hands on the best versions of this tech right now.
And finally, we have to talk about the ugly. And these aren't just funny glitches, these are serious society-level challenges. We're talking about deepfakes being weaponized for misinformation, the very real threat of job displacement in creative fields, massive questions about copyright based on how these things are trained, and of course, the huge environmental cost of all the energy these powerful models need to run.
So, okay, we've got this incredible, mind-bending creative potential on one hand, and then these really serious, complex problems on the other. And that tension just naturally leads to the biggest question of all: where do we go from here, especially when the technology is moving this fast?
This is maybe the most important, and yeah, a little bit chilling, thing to remember. As incredible as all this technology seems right now, what we're seeing today is the absolute worst it will ever be again. The quality, the realism, its ability to understand what we want, it is only going to get better from here. And the speed of that improvement is just staggering. This is the new baseline.
Which leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? Is generative video this revolutionary tool that's going to unlock unprecedented creativity for every single one of us? Or is it an existential threat to our jobs, to our trust in what we see, and maybe even to our society? Right now, the answer seems to be, well, both. And figuring out how to navigate that duality is the great challenge that's sitting right in front of us.